Hi there, AP Lang. I just wanted to spend a couple of minutes here giving you a little bit of our week at a glance here from Monday the 13th through Friday the 17th, as well as kind of explain a little bit of a visual change on Schoology, just because we're going to be starting Gatsby next week. And there's going to be a bucket for Gatsby materials, and then there's going to be kind of this separate folder for uh, our weekly schedule and stuff like that. So I kind of have our two windows here. I have the actual schedule for next week, and then I have Schoology on the left here. But one thing that I want to direct your attention to is that if you go just in the digital learning week 3 folder, the only thing you're going to see in here for the time being next week, and none of this on your end is published quite yet, so that's why if you try and go here right at this point in time in this recording, you won't see anything, and you're of course going to see more on my screen than you ever will on yours because our views are different, right? With that said, though, notice how you're going to pretty much only see this schedule in here. As I stated, we're going to start working with Gatsby next week, and because that's going to go for about 3 weeks ish, is what we have planned for right now. Your main place to go for Gatsby stuff is going to be right here in Gatsby materials, and I just want to show you around in here a little bit. One of the first assignments that you're going to have on Monday is just a general intro to modernism. In this context, modernism is a literary movement here. So you're gonna view this presentation. It's rather brief, okay? And you're gonna do this assignment right here, and it is rather brief as well. I'm expecting you can be doing this while you're viewing that presentation. And really, in a perfect world, it shouldn't take you much longer to do this assignment than it just does this to view this presentation if you're doing it while you're viewing it, okay? Um, on Tuesday, there's mention of a biography piece produced by A&E on F. Scott Fitzgerald. Okay, author, of course, of The Great Gatsby. You are going to view this piece, and then there's an assignment that goes along with that. Again, the idea being is that the bio piece is about 45 minutes, I want to say. It's a little bit on the lengthier side for a day's work, at least what we've had uh, sequenced out in AP so far for our distance learning. Same kind of idea though. If you are doing the assignment, and I'll let you read the directions here on Tuesday, it really shouldn't take you much longer to do the assignment than it does just to view the film if you're doing it while you're viewing. I hope that makes sense. Your your first I lost my sound there. Hope it's still working. Your first reading assignment is going to be due on, let me verify, on the 15th, okay? So on Wednesday. You can find your chapters in a couple of spots here. The first spot that you can find your chapters is if you click into just this chapters link. It is gonna, it's gonna give you this sad face. Okay, it's working. I promise. That's all we got to do is click this open externally, excuse me, and then you're gonna be taken to all of the chapters in PDF form. There's 9 chapters in the book, and I believe the book is like 150 something pages long. uh, hmm. Yeah, the text itself is under 200 pages. I know that. Furthermore, if we go back into our materials, there is also a audio readings for each chapter read by the Hollywood actor Jake Gyllenhaal, if you guys are familiar with who that is. So for these reading assignments, you can read, you can listen, you can read and listen, you can read or listen. You're gonna have to be doing some annotating though, so the reading is gonna be kind of be a must. But use that to supplement however you wish, really. Okay. This link right here is going to take you to our reading schedule, okay, as well as due dates here, all right. And essentially what you're going to notice is that the book is going to be, it's 9 chapters. We're going to split it up into about 3 parts. There's going to be things due after you read chapter 3. There's going to be things due after you read chapter 6, and there's going to be things due after you read the final chapter. Chapter 9. Okay. Um, this takes us to perhaps the most important part of this video here. Okay. So if you're starting to drift off, kind of zoom back in here. And while you are going through your reading, you're going to have 2 tasks. And I'm actually going to show you those right here on the schedule. You are going to have task A. This is while you're reading. So reading task A. And these things are called chapter annotations. Okay. You're going to also have reading task B, and those are going to be your chapter discussion questions. Okay, I have these broken down into 2 separate documents, and there's going to be 2 separate places to submit on Schoology. Okay, so allow me to explain here. And again, these are going to be while you're reading. So as you're reading chapter 1, you're going to want to be doing these annotations and the discussion questions. Okay. I am not going to, well, actually, let me take you into this first one. Okay, so for the chapter annotations, all right, you're going to see that I'm going to unlock the assignments as we go. I'm not going to unlock all these things at once. Okay, and that is more so that I don't get too overwhelmed on my end, because I know some of you guys are going to want to do all this work in like 3 days if you can, but I'm not going to be able to keep up with you if you do that. Okay, so here's essentially the directions that you're going to do. Okay, for each chapter of our text, for each chapter of The Great Gatsby, students will use Kami to annotate the following. Okay, now I'm going to let you read this here, and then there's also going to be a vocab task and a little writing task. I'm going to let you read the directions here. What's important for you to understand, though, okay, is you are going to go either using the Google Drive link, or if you click into this, the actual PDF is here. You're going to take the PDF, you're going to put it into Kami. You're going to do that stuff in Kami, the annotating, the responses, etc. And then you're going to turn each chapter in to this Schoology assignment right here per chapter. So when you're done with chapter 1, annotations, task A, it's going to go here. Okay. When you're done with chapter 2, task A, annotations, it's going to go here, etc. Okay. So while you're reading, you're going to be doing those annotations. Similarly, while you're reading, you're going to be doing some discussion questions. Okay. Please do these again in separate places. The first thing, the annotations in Kami, these discussion questions you can do in your own created Google Doc. Okay. Now, step 1, create a new Google Doc and label it the above assignment title. Okay. Step 2, read the directions below and complete your responses in said Google Docs. As this states, there have been separate submissions created for each chunk. So you kind of have a choice here as far as I'm concerned. If you want to keep submitting that same cumulative document as we go, that's fine. You can do that if you want. If you want to make separate documents and submit each chunk as we go, that's fine too. I'm going to leave that totally up to you. So you might have a chunk for 1, 2, and 3. Okay, you might have a chunk for 4, 5, 6, chunk for 7, 8, and 9. You might want to just put them all in the same thing. That's fine too. Okay. Please read through the directions here. I talk about what I'm going to be looking for when I'm grading these things. Essentially what you're going to do is I'm going to be pushing out about 4 to 5 of my hand-created discussion questions, okay? And then you're going to be writing 2 of your own discussion questions. And as you're going to notice, there's a link in here that takes you a PDF document that gives you some stems to not only write some good, but some great discussion questions. Do not ignore this, okay? We're going to eventually be taking these discussion questions that you write, and we're going to be doing some collaborative virtual discussions over Schoology. A discussion is only as good as the questions that we use to to base it upon, right? So the better the questions, the better the discussions. Please use this guide here for some stems. Um, Read through the rest of the directions. Down here, I'm going to be linking the questions as we go. Again, I'm not much like the annotations. I'm not going to be putting those all up there at once because A, spoiler alerts, but B, I'm going to have juggling all this very different workload. Believe me, you guys, it's really different on our end. I'm going to have to be putting them up kind of in sections here as well. Okay. The reading schedule itself, if you want to create your schedule based on the one that is right here in the Gatsby materials, you can do that if you want, but just bear in mind that some of the work to go along with it, I'm not going to have everything posted in advance for the whole book. Okay. Um, in terms of your discussion question submissions, those are going to be right here, and you're going to see them unlocked piece by piece. The due dates are in the both this assignment as well as in the chapter submission is as well. Um, and I think that about does it. There's going to be this big Gatsby portfolio project, but we'll deal with that later. That's going to be the big summative piece for the unit. Again, we're projecting about 3 weeks for this. While we are doing our work with Gatsby, do not forget that you have that on-demand individual rhetorical analysis prompt too that you and I are going to be doing our writing conferences on. Those things are kind of going concurrently here. So don't put that other thing on the back burner too terribly much because those conferences are going to be starting pretty soon as well. And remember, your actual draft is due a few days before that conference too, so that I have time to read it, respond to it, and hopefully give you some good feedback during those consultations. I think that's about it. I hope that helped kind of give you the little bit of a rundown of what you're going to be doing. This is going to feel kind of with this task A and task B, it's going to feel like a lot. Um, as we start reading this, as you get into a rhythm with it, though, I think you'll feel that pressure release valve kind of release a little bit. Because again, if you're doing this stuff while you're reading, hopefully you can kind of help leverage your reading time with your response time. Okay. But again, it's an AP class, it's AP work. It's going to take you some time too, but you'll get the hang of it. I think though, even though it's going to feel like a little bit more off the top. Okay. Um, I hope this helped clarify. I hope this helped clarify expectations, timelines, and stuff like that. As always, though, if you have follow-up cues, you know where to reach me. I hope everybody's doing okay. On my end, I feel like I'm finally getting into a little bit of a rhythm with everything, working from home. Although it's certainly weird because like I'm never not at work. um, but I think I'm getting into my groove, so to speak, too. So I certainly miss all you guys. I miss seeing your faces. The folks that are new to me this try, other than your little pictures in Schoology, I'm bummed out that I don't get to hang out with you and talk to you face to face. But hopefully, in terms of our writing conference, that's when the we'll have the opportunity to do that. Okay. Um, Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Let me know your follow-up cues, and thanks for hanging along with me with this almost 14-minute long video. Uh, Take care, stay healthy, and I miss you. Bye now.